Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my Business by Design Summit. And today in my hot seat, I have my favorite Jersey girl, Jenny G. Perry. She is a Mojo expert, author of 2 books. She is a frequent blogger on the Huffington Post, and she's a mother of 5. So she gets some serious street points for that. And today we're going to talk about her business by design and her lifestyle and how that works. So today I want to welcome Jenny G. Perry. Thanks for having her beautiful redheaded self here today. How are you, Jenny?
Hi, guys. Yes, Carrie's one of my soul sisters. We get to talk business, and we get to talk our tarot cards, or angel cards, I should say, and hair,
Yep.
and kids, and food, and everything else. So, but I'm here to talk about business today, so it's fun.
It's awesome. You gotta have a soul sister like that. It's just a given, you know. It's just a part of the process. You gotta have someone you can relate to and talk about all the nitty-gritty behind the scenes of what really happens in business. So I'm curious, I really want the audience to know, because you started off as a very young mom, you know, you've got 5 kids, but you did start young. How did you evolve into writing your first book? How did that happen? You know, kind of, how did you explore writing, and how did you get even into business? Because motherhood alone is enough.
Yes. Well, first of all, the way it started with writing was I had a dream. Like maybe 10 years ago, I was reading a lot of novels. I was in my late 20s, and I was like, you know, had lost the weight, still wasn't happy, kind of feeling like this, like, I don't know what to do with myself type of thing. The motherhood thing was like, I felt like I was supposed to love it, and I didn't, and I was like, I love them, but I feel like there's more to my life, and so I was reading a lot. And then I happened to have a dream about a character on General Hospital that was a mobster, and I was like, I would like to write that story. Like, I just how would that play out? So I just kind of created a character and just wrote in notebooks and just had so much fun writing this whole long story. I didn't think of myself as a writer or anything like that. And then I wound up I think typing maybe 10 to 20 pages of it, and it got deleted, and I left it alone, and I just went on and did other things. And then a couple of years had passed by, and I decided that I was like, you know what, I really feel inspired to write again, and I started writing my novel. And I loved the idea of being able to escape and to create this other world. And I kind of, with the Jennifers, I created friends that I wanted to have. And especially being a stay-at-home mom, I wanted to have, they all had different, one's a hairstylist, you know, hair salon owner. One was a stay-at-home mom who wasn't satisfied, who was the lead character, and it was there was aspects of me in her. So I got to play that out, and then I got to put a little bit of myself in each character, or something that was fun to play with. And then so I just had so much fun being able to escape into that world versus just being, you know, with my kids. And then I decided too that I wanted to create more of a spiritual connection myself, create my own happiness. So I was writing a lot, and reading a lot, and I decided to kind of play on social media a lot with the law of attraction, and I started meeting, you know, a lot of people, and I started to blog, and it was my way of trying out a new self, reinventing myself, and it was a safe place for me to do it. So I got to you know, I kind of feel like I put my blog where it was kind of no one was going to see it. I'll post the link, but it's you have to find it. And I even called my Facebook page Peace, Love, Joy, Sparkles, which if I would have created it now, I would have just called it my name. And I do have one that's just my name. But it was me not having the confidence, so I wanted to hide behind that. And I wanted to play around with what happiness was, what, you know, the whole living your life on purpose instead of just things happening to you. And so I started coaching then, just free coaching. And I had a few people. And then I wound up really throwing myself back into editing the Jennifers and getting that cleaned up and launching that. So I was just talking to Carrie before we got on the call about how it's cycles in business. You're going to have times where I want to revisit my second novel that I haven't launched yet called BS. And so I'm trying to figure out the time when I want to go back to that, because it's I don't want to be, I have to set aside time for that. That's you go into a place when you're in the novel versus just blogging. And I haven't been blogging as much because I've been really enjoying being at the beach with my kids. and then there's like, there's the coaching all along, but it's like there's different times for me with different styles of writing. And what we also were talking about is with business, my biggest advice would be extreme self-care, because in the middle of being a mother to 5 children, which the oldest is 18, so it's not like I'm changing her diapers, an 18-month-old I'm changing her diapers, but energetically, like I was going to write this post, and I will at some point later today or tomorrow, that was like, as an empath, somebody who's really sensitive to energy, which is great in my work, but as a parent, it's like being an empath and being a parent is like being on that American Ninja show where like they're just like going through like all of this like, obstacle course, and you get knocked down and get back up again. And so it's a good thing I am a ninja, because you're having all these, business things, but yet like there's 4 human beings that are relying on you. So that's huge. But then learning about marketing and about, all of the online things like Periscope is now new and all this kind of stuff. You can't do everything. Don't try to do everything. Do not try to be on every social media. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm all this, but I kind of rock Facebook the most. And I want to put some more energy into my website and blogging from there. But like, you can't put yourself, I don't think there's enough time in the day to be in every single place. And don't try to be, because you're going to burn out, and you're going to realize that like, okay, so say you land the clients that you want, you get your business to the place that you want to get it to. It's going to fall out from underneath you without taking care of yourself. Because even if you still keep your numbers high, you're going to get a divorce, or you're going to have challenges with your kids, or you're going to have something happen. Because it's just, you can't be running on empty. You just can't. You have to make sure, they say schedule in time. Sometimes you have to take like, one friend of mine in coaching, she's like, I wish I could take the summer off. Well, you can actually take the summer off. If you design your business that you're taking the summer off, you can do that. You have to figure out the way that is going to fit it for you. Just like you and I are constantly talking about like better ways to tweak my business and better ways to monetize my power of influence, but from the feel-good place, not the should place. Because like I don't believe in that philosophy, and right. I know you don't either. Because right. It would be like you taking every single one of your clients and saying, dye your hair this color, wear this outfit. Like as entrepreneurs, we were meant to stand out. We weren't meant to be just one way. And if you like to rock the suit, then rock the suit. Don't try to rock the flowy dress. Don't try to be anything that you're not. Right. And I think I'm definitely the queen of that, but I'm the queen of that now. Versus if you see pictures of me in my early 20s, in that mommy mode, is, short hair, just trying to play this role. And I will admit, like, motherhood can swallow me up at times where I have to be like, okay, where am I in this? Like, I'm going to the movies tonight, and it's probably getting home later than I would want, but I'm like, nope, I felt into it, and I was like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do this? And I do want to do this. Because I was telling her, I woke up this morning with, like, too much on my plate, and I was like, what can I was like, I threw everything off the plate, and I was like, all right, I feel so much better. I don't have to do anything, nothing, besides, being a mother of 5. And then I was like, and I wound up putting every single thing back on that plate, but because I chose it, not because somebody else was choosing that for me.
It makes a big difference. It feels so much lighter, too. Like you said, the should, have to energy is heavy.
But I think men are better at this in the way that I was just talking to my girlfriend on the beach a few hours ago. I sound so luxurious, like I was just on the beach. But how, like, baby showers and, like, the obligation to go to certain things. And, like, guys, they might be looking at it how they can network, or looking at it as maybe they don't feel like they have to invest any energy when they're at a gathering. And I know for us, it's kind of like the chit-chatting can take energy, the socializing can take energy, whether you bring your kids or not. So sometimes social gatherings are something that you have to make a choice about. Like I'm missing a baby shower that is on Saturday because I just can't swing it babysitting-wise, and I just can't worry about being everything to everyone. I've done that, in years past. And men succeed at business because they're like, dude, okay, I'm not going to have all this on my plate. Like, I don't have to have everything on my plate. And we're like, we'll be everything to everybody. Nope, you're just not going to do it. And so it's easier for them. It's easier for them to just be like, nope.
Can't come. Sorry.
I'm not going to. And they don't get drained of energy.
Right.
Exactly. And they don't get drained of energy because, I mean, and they're not as emotional as we are. So you could look at that as you know, that sometimes they need to balance that, open their heart up a little bit more. But I think that's the thing, is that in business, it's like, you know, with the time in your day, there's time, there's energy, there's freedom, and there's money. And it's like, what is your goal? Is it to create more income? You have to be careful of that so that you're not overstacking yourself where you lose time, or you lose freedom, or you lose energy. So it's like with an entrepreneur, you literally, you know this, from the minute you wake up until the time you go to bed. I've done that before. Like, you've probably done that too, where you're like, wait a minute, I just realized, like, I've been so distracted, I've been on my phone, and I've been doing all that stuff, and it's like been 12 hours. And you didn't mean to do it because you're staying at home as an entrepreneur. So you're like, I didn't realize I was doing this. But if you do that too much, you realize that your energy's low. Your time is not really your time anymore, because you do all that and then you add clients onto it, and then you're like, oh my God. How many people do that? They're like, I wanted freedom, and now I don't have freedom.
Right. Where'd my freedom go? I feel like a slave to myself. Yes.
Exactly.
Very true.
Which we've talked about this. One of my challenges is, as a life coach and as a blogger, is how much you share about what's going on with your journey, because I shared a very vulnerable mommy morning where I was just like, my kids had been fighting, and I didn't even go into like what had happened, just like it was me outside of the Starbucks and just being like, I'm done, and just not having the answers. And I posted this morning, and I thought this was such an important point, is that problem is not a dirty word. It's not a bad word, because we're like conditioned to think like problems are bad, and it's like, you're going to have problems in your relationships, in your business, in your life, with your body, with your kids, with whatever. And why are problems not a problem is that solutions arise out of problems, just like answers are born from questions. So stop trying to avoid them. Stop trying to not have them. It's going to happen.
Yes.
And so my vulnerable post there was so freeing, because it's like, hi, coach with me. I know everything. And it's like, okay, I am an amazing coach, but like, I'm also a mom. So like, it would be kind of creepy if I went into my kids' rooms and I was like, here's the book of life. Here's everything you're going to do for the rest of your life. Like, they don't want that from me. They really don't. So that can be a challenge. And I wanted to share that aspect because I can't blog about their stuff. It's just not my place. So sometimes that does limit how much I can share. And I also think that no matter whether you're a mommy blogger or, relationship blogger, or, writing about your relationships or whatever, you have to also just keep some things in, because, like, just keep it a little mysterious sometimes. You don't have to tell everybody everything. That's not being phony. I don't think that's being phony. I think that's just being, like, it's a smart marketing thing where, like, you don't look like a hot mess on a hot mess day necessarily. Maybe you talk about it later. But marketing, I just don't think it's smart marketing. And you also, there's a way of being vulnerable without letting everybody into every nook and cranny of your existence.
True.
It's just,
What I like is that you do have the lifestyle, obviously, to balance things out, and you couldn't have that kind of lifestyle if you had a 9-to-5 corporate job. Is the key thing too. Is you can be a mom, you can still work on your voice and your career, because I love that you found your place in the world. You found Jenny. You found where you shine the brightest. You get to have that peace. You don't feel like, because I know the moms that are listening to this call are thinking, where did I go? And that happened to me, and you can relate too. It's like you lose yourself in your family, your children, but this business, tell us emotionally what having your writing, having this business, coaching your clients does for you emotionally.
Well, I realize that if I take too much time away from that, then I feel like I'm not as centered, because with me, my writing and my coaching is part of my purpose and my passion. And so it's like, yes, as a mother, it's part of my purpose and my passion, but if I'm in that world too much, I feel like I don't have Jenny. I have mommy. So it is a balance there. And even if you're taking time off, like say if you take the summer off, or if you're just taking a vacation with your family, because you could even like seriously get swallowed up into motherhood in a week, you know, or a weekend, even just a weekend, okay, where you're like, you have nothing going on with business because you've carved out that weekend, and you find that, you know, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs that have small children that they're just like, you're swimming in it. You have to create pockets of those moments that I call them your vibe raisers. It sounds like I just said vibrator, but I did not say vibrator. I'm saying vibe raisers, okay? That's the thing, is what raises your vibe? It's like, you know, for me, it's dancing around to music. It's inspiring things. I know for you, it's like reading certain things. And I have books that I want to read that I have to find a time in my day where I think I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier and carve out that reading time besides just my exercise time in the morning. But it's like you have to find those pockets that you refuel yourself in order to be the best mom you can, the best life coach you can, the best blogger, writer, whatever it is. And I think that that's so super important, where, you know, if I'm not filling myself up and I'm not happy, what's the point of anything?
Right. Yep.
Because you can
no good
say,
to anybody.
I'm selfless. Exactly. I'm selfless. I want to serve others. Well, you're going to burn out in that mode if you're not filling yourself up. And I don't believe that we're not supposed to be happy. I just feel like that we have endless opportunities to choose, like, and there's words like happy, there's words like beauty, there's things like love. Like when you go out on a hike, that's one of your refueling things. For me, it's the beach. You know, places in nature that fuel you up, where it's like, today I was actually driving and I was like, I just for a minute like took in the trees, and I was like, oh, like the beauty here was just like unbelievable. Now everybody else on the road was probably not looking at the trees, and I was like, that moment of beauty, that 10 seconds of beauty was like, wow. It's like that those things refuel me. So that's where I want to speak to people about, like, the time factor, where like if you're in a 9 to 5 and you're looking to, you know, maybe in the evening you're working on your business and you're just feeling like, I don't have time for that. It's like, what if on your commute you looked for beautiful things?
Yes.
That fuels you up. So it's like, it's that self-care, that happiness that everyone's looking for. It comes in different ways for different people. Like sometimes just having like that time off to go for a bike ride, to tap into freedom. It's like, think about those words that you want to actually feel in creating the business of your dreams. And if you're not there yet, you're still in the 9 to 5. Feel what freedom feels like and tap into that. And I think that that's such a huge thing, because it's like, you can't get there if every day you feel like you're in jail. You're going to still stay in jail because you're like, this job is my jail. It's like, okay, so on the drive home, think about what an amazing weekend you're going to have. Think about how free you are to write what you want or whatever, you know, because that is really like, when we can express ourselves through writing, to me that's like such a freedom. That freedom of expression is like one of the reasons why I write. I feel like that's just one of our purposes.
It's funny that you say that, because you can find joy in every task. I'm a person that doesn't like to grocery shop, so I'm that weird girl with their earbuds in at the grocery store. That's like a treat to me. My new playlist, I'm downloading it. I'm gonna go through Target or wherever, and I'm gonna have fun while I'm shopping. I'm trying to like lighten anything. Something I don't like to do, I usually add music, like you mentioned your thing's music too. It just changes your mood. Everything now, it's a mundane task is now something fun, you know, and you can do that. It's so simple. It doesn't take much. Even when your business, you know, there might be a task on your to-do list today that's that one thing you've really been putting off because you can't stand it. There's a way to make it fun. There's always a way to make it fun and something enjoyable. You know, do whatever you got to do to make it silly. Do it with a girlfriend, do it with a friend, do, you know, delegate it out, whatever it takes, you know, and just make it fun. But I like your vibration pieces because you are a Serious Mojo expert. You bring a lot of fun to the table. You're just silly in nature, of course, naturally silly.
I am. Well, that's the thing. I like in my coaching sessions, I'm like, you know, we'll talk about your chakras. I can get super deep, but then like we are like telling jokes in the next minute, because I do believe that that's the way. Like some of that is if you get too deep and you don't have the humor, I feel like it's out of balance. Like you have to have that, both of that. And in some ways, the model of going back into your past, I usually have people send me over their bio, like, their past, whatever you want to tell me before our session, so that way I can just read it, but we don't have to spend a half an hour you talking to me about the woe is me, because it's like when you consolidate it, you got that out, and I'm like, okay, I got some background, but that's all we need, because then it's like, to go backwards in order to go forwards, I don't believe that, but I can connect the dots with you, just like if you're very self-reflective like you and I are, sometimes we can say, oh, I see why, like I had some blocks with business that were about my mother being a hardworking breadwinner in our family growing up, where I was, babysat by people. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want that. So for a long time, I wanted to be around my kids, that they had something that I didn't have. But my mom was so happy because she was fulfilled in her passion and her ambition. So it's very interesting. So if I thought about, I was like, oh wow, if my business grows, will my parenting suffer? And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I was like, oh my goodness, like I love uncovering people's blocks and saying, okay, that's why you have that. It goes back to here, because I can instantly see where that comes from. And I call it untangling the energy, because that's what happens. Is it's like, whether somebody is successful in their business and they are having relationship challenges, it's like, okay, well, we can figure that out real quick. And it's so obvious sometimes that it's like, but it's because someone else isn't like, more objective is sometimes so clarifying and so wise, versus we're in our stuff and we're like, we don't see our stuff,
Yeah.
in it. So that's why it's great to have a coach that points out where some of your blocks could be and why they're there and why they're actually serving you. Because our blocks are always serving us. We just don't realize it, because they're keeping us safe and keeping us from the danger on the other side of that we think. Because you think, oh, why wouldn't someone want to grow their business? And I guarantee there's somebody listening to this right now that is afraid that if they grow their business, that their relationships will suffer. They're afraid if they grow their business that they won't have the time and the freedom. Like, there's certain things that they're afraid of. Because if your business isn't growing, there's a reason for that.
Right. You're holding yourself back, and there's, definitely underlying.
And don't feel bad about it, though.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? It's like, there's no reason to be ashamed of that, is what I wanted to say.
Right. It's just uncovering that, what's this weed I need to pull in my business right now, basically, is all it is. I had the opposite childhood. My mother was a stay-at-home mom of 5 kids. And I think that's why I'm so into career, because I saw my mom not have hers, like put that on hold and never really plug back into what made her tick. And she was like the valedictorian in high school, super brilliant, smart, but she just kind of was whatever dad did and supported him and kind of was a shadow behind him. And I think I just did everything I could not to be mom. So it's like, it's interesting that you're doing the same thing, or did have that trigger. I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my mom, and you're so afraid, and I'm doing like the opposite. But now I have nice balance. Obviously, I get to be hands-on mother. I don't have my daughter through the summer, so my summers look very different than most other entrepreneurs. I actually pile more marketing stuff. Yes. I have like no kid all summer, so I pile extra projects on, and writing my book and doing the summit, things like that are extra stuff that I don't want to do during the school year when she's home. So that's the flexibility you get to have, though. That's what's cool. You work with whatever works for you.
Exactly.
And don't have any shame around that. Like during the school year, I knew mentally I'm going to put this off till summer. I'll have more time. I'm not going to feel guilty this time, because this is time with my kid, and just let it go. And same with you. Your summers are packed. You're at the beach. You got the kids home. Let it go. It's just, you get to hit it hard in the fall. And
that's the thing, is that be present with your life.
Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes, like, there's things that maybe you are putting off because it's like, is this not the right time? Is there a better time? I just read something about, like, and I don't know if it was from Danielle Laporte, it might have been, about how, like, procrastination is sometimes mistaken, or like something about intuition is sometimes mistaken for procrastination, something along that line. And I thought, oh my God, if I had like a dime for every time somebody was judgy on me about like projects that I had or launches or whatever, and it's just like, if I'm not lined up, I'm not doing it. Like, I was going to launch this weight loss program And I was like, okay, I'm getting a hold back on that. Like I'm getting like I'm holding back on that. I wasn't getting a huge, a huge response from it. And I was like, and then you just were talking about timing factor on like the summer. And here I'm at the beach and I'm like, I'm thinking about like all these people on the beach and I'm like, they could totally use my help to do this a fun way. I have one client who lost 80 pounds, one client who lost 40. And like I did it without talking about diet and exercise because I'm all about the loving your body as is to get to the body that you want, not as like, I don't have rock hard abs. Like that's just not, it's not something that I really care to have because it's like, that would mean I could have no red wine, I could have no carbs, and like, it just would not be the kind of strictness I could have, right?
You're so real. I am not willing to take that off the plate. Okay?
No, I mean, like, I just recently saw, like, somebody training for, like, a fitness thing, and it's like this strictness, and I'm like, could I do it for a month? I wonder how long I could do that. And I'm like, that's a month of my life. That's a month of my life. And I'm like, I just don't think I could do that. Like, I'm definitely somebody who has found a way to stay in the thin range, the fit enough range where it's like, where I can still have, and my kids would say that I eat too healthy for their liking, but it's like, I couldn't eat French fries every day because I don't want to eat French fries every day. Like, I would feel sluggish, But I don't believe in no-no foods anyway, because the minute you say something's a no-no, it goes into like the I should category. Same with business, where it's like, the VA thing is like such a huge part of starting, a business as an entrepreneur. Is that like, okay, so if you don't know how to do something, could you find a VA that could do it in such a short amount of time that you could actually be doing something else? So think about that. Is like, what lights you on fire? And you're such a big proponent of this, is that like, if you love doing videos, do videos. But I'm sorry, I know there's some people that would disagree with me about the video thing. But some people don't like doing videos, so do something else that you love to do. Because some people are like, okay, blogging is dead, or okay, now, this is dead, or this is dead. Nothing is dead. Somebody's thriving in that area.
Yes, true. Very true.
Because if the video thing doesn't come naturally to you, I think it's something that if you want to become a speaker, you should definitely, have good video. But at the same time, like if you're such a writer, be such a writer. And if you thrive in like, I feel like try to find your zone that you shine in, like you're saying, and really rock that.
Nobody wants to be labeled as a jack of all trades, master of none. You should be a master of something. And just find that sweet spot and kill it. That's literally how it works.
And you know what? There's somebody that I'm sure that's listening to this call too, that's like gonna join an MLM, and somebody's like, don't join an MLM. And it's like, listen, I have done MLMs, and like I'm not as good at it as other people are. I see people rocking MLMs, and it's like, I have friends of mine that are making, like, I've seen them like go soar in MLMs, and it's like, so there's somebody like that may be their bridge into entrepreneurship, that then they do something else besides that, because that's the thing, there may be a bridge between your 9 to 5 or your one MLM to a second MLM to then your own thing, but like, just be willing to be a risk taker. I'd rather be that person that tries something, that sends out an email that says, hey, does everybody want to do this weight loss thing? And like, I get a couple of people, but, not enough to start something. I'd rather be sending out those emails, be putting myself out there, than just be like, oh, I have to wait. Like you said this recently about how, like, don't be like, that person that has to be perfect before you hit send. Because then you're going to be sitting at home.
Fire. Shoot. Then you can re-aim later.
Or you're going to still be in that place. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that I do think that a big part of reinventing myself too was giving myself permission to be that confident woman on the outside too. I'm just like a really big person about energy and like our jewelry, colors we wear. I think that's like, somebody was just recently doing that for corporate women too, about like finding your like way to dress and everything. And I don't think it needs to be that complicated. It's just like, I like to give people permission to like be who they want to be.
Yeah. Find your own flair.
Exactly. one of the reasons that women do not do that is they're afraid of judgment from other people. They're afraid of like what their best friend's going to say, what their husband's going to say, what people are going to say. Like, what if all of a sudden you've always been wearing suits and all of a sudden you're going to wear a dress to work? Oh my goodness, is someone going to say something? Because I can't tell you how many times somebody has said something to me that was like that kind of joke. It's so not a joke. It's so a dig. It's so to like steal your mojo, just to make you like, because it's like, uh-oh, here's a unicorn. We found a unicorn. You got to make them feel bad because they have a horn now, because they were hiding the horn with like some other thing.
That's true.
But so when you do something that stands out, there's going to be somebody that says to you, like, why are you doing that? I don't like that. I don't like you're changing. You're changing.
Right.
You're growing.
You're not blending in with the background. How dare you stand out?
I know, exactly. You're getting too happy for me. You're getting too rich for me. And what that means is you're changing. And I'm afraid that now it's going to make me feel bad because you've done something that I want to do, or you've broken through something and I can't break through my thing.
Right. Yep.
So it's like, I just feel like there's such a huge thing when it comes to like, don't settle for just living in the suit to the sweatpants or whatever it is. Like sometimes I think that that's like we were just talking about our hair. Like there's something about the energy of a makeover that it's like, I don't believe that it can ever just be physical, but sometimes getting that haircut, going to get your hair done, buying a new pocketbook, whatever it is the catalyst to create some new steps. Because that's the thing, sometimes like you might be listening to this right now and you're like, look at those ladies, and like, well, they made it seem easy. And they don't know my life because my life is so much harder than them, or whatever it is. And it's like, literally, you and I took one step. It's just one step. Take one step. Tomorrow, decide to do something for yourself. Like, go to Starbucks and get that coffee before work. And write down on a sticky note, like, what you would want to feel that day. And post it somewhere. I believe in, like, surrounding your visual, like, your eyes on what you want to become. That's why I think it's important, like, when you wear something, that you wear, like, something that you want to be the energy of. Like, I'm awesome t-shirt. Something like that. And it's the same with the color. Like, the colors that you're wearing, you're kind of emitting that to people. So that's why I'm like, I've changed clothes because I'm like, I don't know, something's not right there. Like, it's not the vibe that I really feel connected with.
Yeah. I walk into my closet and go, what do I feel like wearing? Not what do I want to wear, but what will it make me feel good today? Because I want to feel pretty, sexy, or whatever you're looking for that day. And it jumps out at you. I love that.
And so I've heard people say, like, their favorite color, they don't look good in their favorite color. Nope, I don't believe in that. I believe that your favorite color, you should be wearing it. There's a shade of that color that you can wear. You should have something in your office that's that color. Because it's like when you see that color, your vibe raises. It makes you happy. Like, there's certain colors. Like, this blue on the Business by Design, that reminds me of the sky, and I just got a pocketbook, Michael Kors pocketbook, that color. Every time I see that color, it's like, it's also the color of my eyes, but it's like, that's a happy color for me. It makes me happy. And funny enough, at my hair salon that I go to, it's in the shampoo room, it's that color. And they were talking about how some people don't like that color, and I'm like, I love that color. But like whatever color it is that you relate to. And I don't think it has to be that you can't rock black suits and stuff. Like, I have a black leather jacket that when I put on that jacket, I've gone to business things in it. I went to a women's conference with, actually, no, I'm lying. It was a pink leather jacket for that one. But I have gone to the previous one in a black leather jacket. And I had, like, this, like, black, pleather skirt. Like, you really should have, if you have this femininity, rock that femininity. If you have this edge to you, rock that edge. And you can do that while still being in corporate as you bridge to be, an entrepreneur. Because I don't know, to me that's such a huge thing for women. Like, it kind of says who we are. We get to have fun with that versus just men with the suit. But if you're a guy, I think that you can totally rock a suit to the max with, the suit and tie combination.
Yes, fun color shirts, fun color ties. Absolutely. I noticed in the corporate world, I would just be Carrie, show up. And I've never had a challenge being myself. Even high school, I kind of would get teased. Like, did you see what Carrie wore yesterday? Yeah, I worked at a clothing store. I wore whatever I wanted to. I was way out there. But in the corporate world, you do try to minimize and not stand out too much. You don't want to make people uncomfortable. God forbid you be the unicorn that you are. But I noticed when I stopped giving a shit, literally, it was like giving permission to everyone else to step up their game. And the women in the office place started wearing that fun red dress they've always wanted to wear, or, you know, those fun shoes they didn't think were corporate enough. And you give permission to let others be their true selves too. I think it's the best way to go.
Agree. I so agree, because I can't tell you how many women would message me on Facebook that were like, I took this selfie for you, because they were like afraid to take a selfie, and I'm like the selfie queen. I have ain't no shame in my game, because really, if you love yourself and you see like one of your friends post a selfie and they're happy, if you are not happy looking at that picture, you need to look within yourself and say, where am I not loving myself? Because like I'm all about, I want every woman to love herself, and like one of my next blogs I'm going to do for the Huffington Post is about, I posted one day this Rockstar necklace that I got from Forever 21, and I get such compliments, you would think it was super expensive, and I posted a selfie the one day, and I was like, hair is on fleek, like I am got it going on, and this guy comments, and he says, I don't know what's so special about you. And I just deleted it because I didn't even feel like schooling that day. But I thought, like, oh my God, could you imagine, like, never in a million years would I ever say to somebody, what's so special about you? Like, what are we, in the third grade? Like, and so what I was going to say is that, like, I'm beautiful, and, like, you could deal with that. Like, because I know I'm beautiful, but I didn't know I was beautiful until I chose that I was beautiful. And somebody could say, okay, well, I don't buy that. But you can literally look at my pictures. And I emanate a different energy now. But you know how I am. Like, I can't tell you how many women's selfies I have written, beautiful, gorgeous. Like, I've liked more women's selfies than, you know, I can't even tell you who. But because to me, that's like, I'm a sister goddess. They're my sister goddesses. Like, I want them to love themselves. Right. And if they feel bad, like, that doesn't make me feel good. I don't get that whole, like, knock them down so I feel good type thing. And I think it's such an important thing to be like, as I liberated myself and said I'm beautiful, then I gave other women permission to be like, oh my God, could I say I'm beautiful? What would people think about me? Well, if they think that you're egotistical or that you're narcissistic, that's on them, because you're not saying that I'm more beautiful than you. Because I would never say I was more beautiful than somebody, because it's just not, I don't believe in that. I believe that I can see beauty in every woman. So rolling like that, it's a win-win for everyone. Because if I was in that mode, I would be in competition with another woman. I'm 5 foot. There's always going to be someone taller than me, who is thinner than me, you know, who's more pretty, you know, all of that. And it's like, get out of that game. You can shine, they can shine, everybody can shine. It's way more fun like that. But I just recently, somebody took a picture of my #1 best-selling book, Sex Pot with Stretch Marks, which is me on the cover of a magazine in my bikini showing my, you know, stretch marks. And to me, it's like, I've gotten, you're so brave. And just even about that vulnerable video the one day, you're so brave. And it's like, brave. I'm not a firefighter. Like, I'm just being myself.
That's a good example, because I sure as hell ain't either.
Exactly. But it's like, but it actually made my day. She was like, I read this on the beach, and like, you know, she said something about like feeling uplifted, and I was like, I love uplifting. Like, when somebody gets done a session with me, and they're like, my one client, she's like, her best friend is like, I always know when you had a session with her, because you're uplifted, and you know how my energy is. Like, I'm kind of like, you know, a firecracker like that. Is my goal is always to uplift you. It's never, you know, it's never even to lift you. It's like to uplift you, like that, you know. And in my writing, I always try to do that. And sometimes, you know, maybe you're not going to uplift, you're going to inspire. My 3 things, my 3 rules, and this should go for other women that are looking to, maybe you're going to be in one type of business, but you also have that rock in this one business that you have, or coaching. You're also going to try to inspire others to become an entrepreneur, or whatever it is you should be looking to empower, inspire, and uplift. Because you know how magnetic that is? I mean, you do those things as well. And it's like, you're a lighthouse when you do that. People are attracted to that. They want more of that. So if you do that versus stay out of other people's profits, stay out of other people's successes, because if you're looking at other people in your mastermind group, or you know, the other people that are in your coaching group, whatever it is in your company, that like how are they doing versus you, that's like running a race. You're going to trip over your own 2 feet. You can look over and say, okay, I see everybody's in their starting gate. Somebody's a little bit ahead, but keep focused. Keep focused on your end game, because you really are only in competition with yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I posted something like that yesterday, and a guy responded, tying your shoelaces and looking at what you're running and who's doing what is so important on the game and the race. And I'm like, you missed the whole point, dude. It's about not getting stuck in the details. Yes, details matter, systems matter to get to the finish line, but it was just like such different personalities. And I wanted to respond, and then again, like you said, he's a nudge bucket. He likes to do that. I stole your term, and you totally given that the best rocked out term ever. And it's like, I'm not going to give you the energy. Yes, it's perfect. It's like, dude, you're polar opposite personality than I am. We're never going to see eye to eye. You have your way, I have my way. As long as we both get results for our clients, it's all good. You know, so it's like, I'm not even going to give you the energy, but I think he likes to just post these big, long things on me because I get attention, social media, and he doesn't. So it's like he's trying to steal the spotlight or something. I don't know.
That's so funny. Oh, I love that. That is such a riot. And it's like, if something triggers me, I always try to think, like, why is that triggering me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, why does that tick me off that they wrote that? Because sometimes I'm just like, if I don't agree with something, I just keep scrolling, you know? And that's something that I will want to, 2 things, is that when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, okay, and you're on social media and, you know, posting your stuff, sometimes what you need to do is you need to be really focused on just posting what's going on with you. And you might be in some business groups and whatnot, but stay out of other people's business, stay off the news feed. Like, I just recently heard an Abraham Hicks type thing about going on a negativity diet. Like, stay away from the news, stay away from, you know, negative posts. And there's sometimes we can get our energy goes really low as we're trying to soar by getting caught up in, like, the news feed. And I know, like, certain times I'll look and it's like a wishy-washy thing. I'll be looking to just be inspired by you, and, you know, which this is a great feature too, is that I don't know if everybody knows about that, but like if you go to on somebody's Facebook post and you go to where it says you're following them, and then click on that, and it will open up a window that says default or unfollow, default, or see first. And so you're on my see first list. And so you'll come up in my newsfeed first. And it's like, if you want to be deliberate about the people that you're inspired by, make those your see first people. Because I know sometimes, like, people just recently messaged me and they're like, I'm not seeing your stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't work for Facebook. I don't know what they do. But so it's like sometimes, you know, and I haven't been posting as much because I've been at the beach. So make sure that you go to see first for me and you know, the people that you like.
I've got my favorites that I click on that too all the time. Stuff you want to see first because you know it's going to uplift you. It's going to help your day. It's not because I'm nosy trying to figure out what is she doing today. It's more of, these are the people I want to, you got, and especially if you're consistently tapping into good stuff and sharing good stuff. Of course, somebody's going to want to follow that. But yeah, I just noticed that there's like a little star or whatever. I think you click that, and that's what it does.
So that's the thing, is that for everybody when they wake up, whether they're in the corporate making the bridge, whether they're in an MLM, because I know a lot of people that, you know, are connected with MLMs, or if they're building their team, or if they're, you know, an entrepreneur, is that every day when you wake up, kind of make a chart, even, you know, just on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be on your computer, and you just look at it as like time, energy, and freedom, and just look at that as like how much is in each category, because that's really what you're aiming for as an entrepreneur. And you can put profits in there, but I think that the profit thing needs to be less focused on, because it's like, really, you want the money so you have more of the time and the freedom.
Right.
And in starting out, if you're too focused on the profits, it's kind of like you planted those seeds and you're like, why are my plants not growing? So it's like, well, listen, are you focused on the right things? Are you focused on your time, your energy, and your freedom? And the time thing is so important, because if you're on social media and you're getting distracted, that is a time and an energy drain.
Yes, it is, especially for an empath. You get
Exactly.
sucked into
And
the
if you're
drama.
exactly, and if you're doing a lot of sales calls, okay, then you have to look at that's the time, the energy, and the freedom.
Right.
Because you know
Absolutely.
people that get their calendar stacked with all of these consultation calls that they're looking to steal coaching, and it's like, okay, but you have to be mindful of your energy and
Mm-hmm.
how much that's going out. And here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with being somebody who there might be somebody who you could look at a man who doesn't have any children, and you look at his plate, and so his plate is sales calls, luncheons, dinners, um, um, networking, functions and all that, and he piles it on like he was at the all-you-can-eat buffet. Okay, and then you have a mom who has a bunch of kids, who's working, is trying to launch as an entrepreneur, or she works from home, whatever. And she's like, oh my God, if I had that on my plate, I would lose my marbles, okay? Do not feel bad that you can't have all that on your plate. And this is a key point. You can have a mother that has the same amount of kids, that is in the same business as you, that it maybe even cooks from scratch and runs 20 miles a day, and she can't have the same stuff on her plate, and do not feel bad about it. Because
Right.
everyone's different. You don't know what it's like to be in her mind. You're made up differently. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But if you're looking at what she can put on her plate and judging what you can put on your plate, it's running the race again. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna trip yourself up.
Yep.
So it's like focus on what can go on your plate comfortably, and look at your categories of time, energy, and freedom. I think that's just such a great point.
I like that. Time, energy, and freedom. That's a big, big deal. Yeah, the comparison game's a deadly one. It's very toxic. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And, I always say work on being a better you than you were yesterday. You grow. People, I think we handle so much. God gives us one thing, we kind of can hold it. Okay, I can juggle one more thing over here. Oh, and I can do this now too. And then you're like, oh my God, 3 years ago, there was no way I could handle what I do today. But you grow and expand.
Exactly.
And I like it too as another person I had worked with on an interview before. She's like, this happens to a lot of people that are just starting out. They'll compare their beginning to someone's middle. It's like, well, what are you thinking? They started ahead of you. There's no comparison there. You're just starting brand new. Don't compare your start to someone's middle of their
Exactly.
business success.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And also, it's like, we're not, like I always say, take the helicopter view. Like if you rise up, what's the helicopter view? I just wanted to say this one quote of mine that is my most stolen words. Like, it's shared without my name attached. And as a writer, people don't get how much like that is like a.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a huge. I know you've seen this before, and I think it's such a great one to share with people, because I know there's somebody out there that's comparing themselves to us, because
Right.
it's just part of human nature. But I want to share this as soon as I can find it, about running your own race. And this was actually me getting off the treadmill at my parents' house, and I ran 5 miles, which that was 2 years ago. I haven't even been running lately because I don't like it. But that I was so proud of myself for running the 5 miles. But I was thinking about people that are like marathon runners, and I was like, okay, do not go there, because to you 5 miles is like a marathon. And it's like you could, like, maybe I could never run 20 miles. I don't even care, because that's just way too much work. But I could drink them under the table, okay? No, I'm just kidding. But it's the important point was that it was such a moment of clarity for me that when it's like I see it and my words aren't attached, I'm just like, oh, it was such a good moment. But anyway, people are inspired, so that's the most important point. But I am in competition with no one. I run my own race. I have no desire to play the game of being better than anyone in any way, shape, or form. I just aim to improve to be better than I was before. That's me, and I'm free. Jenny G. Penn.
That's right.
And that's total freedom. It's just being like, I'm going to improve myself, and it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. And really, here's the thing, is if other people are thriving, be like, okay, thank you, universe, I'd like some of that, please, but mine, And it was like I was telling you, one thing, part of my woo-woo stuff here is that think about the the richest person in your town or your state, and just feel like, what would it be like to be that most successful person in my company? Just feel into that and just claim that and just say, like, I'm a match to that energy. I am of that vibration. Just for a glimmer, because sometimes it's so hard for us to think about it. But if we just tap into it, like, just imagine you're getting into their, like, Mercedes and get into that. Just imagine what that's like. They're going home and they're driving home on the freeway and they're just, like, so happy. And, like, they're getting takeout. They, like, don't worry about their bills and feel like, I can feel that right now. Can you feel that?
Yes, totally.
And it's like, and some of that might be woo-woo to someone else, but this is stuff that Tony Robbins, that, you know, the secret, that this is like proven visualization. This is tapping into the energy of it. Because if you are not there and you are like, I don't know how I'm going to bridge that gap, pretend, practice it just for a second. Because once you start getting into like the details and trying to work it all out, how it's going to happen, zoom back out. Like, just let go of it. Like, how fun was that for a second to just think about, like, getting into those leather seats and just being like, and then you're like, ask your assistant, fetch me that Starbucks. Is my kimono, you know.
Right.
And just like feel what that's like, and just like, you know, that's why I watched the Real Housewives show, because last night I was watching the Real Housewives, and the one lady, her husband is a plastic surgeon, and they're all on a trip somewhere, and they go into a store, and the one lady is talking about how she works so hard, and she thinks that if you don't work for your money, you should ask your husband for, you know, before you spend your money and blah, blah, blah. And they're bickering, you know, like the Real Housewives. And so the whole point that I got out of it that was so fun is that the one lady, she's like, well, I don't talk to him about, like, what I purchased. Like, I mean, like, buku bucks. And they're like, well, how much are you talking? And she's like, well, I can spend $10,000. Like, that's, like, what I would say before I would even talk to him about it. And it's like, to some people, that's like, what? And so the one lady's like, well, that would be more like $1,000 in my life. And so you could look at that as like the lady who's 1,000, you know, for her, she could go back to her room and be like, I feel so much crap. Or she could be like, now what's it going to take, universe, for me to get to the place that my 1,000 is like somebody else's 10,000?
Yeah.
Because that's how you up level. Is you don't go into, oh man, like, I'm so salty about that, because you can come up against that edge of that envy. And then you get to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to wash my hands of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not, because that's a dangerous territory. Because really, you don't want their life. Right. So get out of their life and just say, like, oh my God, how fun would that be? And play in the fun of it. And just say, yeah, if 10,000 was something that I could just like play around with, like no big deal, what would I do with it for fun? And I actually recently asked that question to people. As I said, if I gave you $100 on my Facebook page, or actually no, just on my profile, because, you know, I like to play around even more just as me. And I said, if I gave you $100, what would you do with it? And I'm sorry, some people don't get the point, and they're like, well, I would give it to charity. And that's not the point. It's the point of what would you do to spend on you? Because it's right. I want them to generate the energy. Right. And some people will post because they don't want judgment and all that. And listen, I have donated tons of money. I'm not saying that don't donate money. I'm talking about, think about having $100 in your hand. What would you do for you? It's the energy of taking care of yourself. What would that look like? It's making you think about yourself. And I think it's fun to think about that. And for someone else, maybe it'd be $1,000. For somebody else, maybe it'd be getting a Starbucks. But think about the self-care factor, because that is such an important point. Because if you take care of yourself, it actually affects your business, it affects your relationship. It affects everything when you're taking care of yourself.
It's fun. It's like giving you free allowance. Don't have to put it up, because we do the, oh, well, what bill should I pay with it? No, you get to spend it on whatever you want, just to have that energy. I like to use that energy too when we're manifesting what we want. I mean, you have to feel it already if it's already in existence. So what you're doing when tapping into people's vibrations or whatever, or where you want to be, it's just manifestation. You know, it's awesome.
I love playing around with that. I love playing around with you know, it's mindset. It's all mindset. Whether you are a man or a woman looking to make any change in your life, it's all your mindset, which maybe seems like I'm oversimplifying it, but it's like everything is energy, and your mindset is a continual, your mindset is a continual energy that you repeat every day. So if you want to get up tomorrow and do something different, you have to think differently. And you could say, well, I can't think differently. This is the way I've been thinking. But thoughts are energy. And so it's like, even if you have a negative thought, you could say, okay, so one of the things that I've done with my clients is that if they're in overwhelm, they can't get from overwhelm to like joy or to peace or whatever it is, whatever high energy they want to be at, because it's like just too fast of a thing. So it's like if you're in overwhelm, just like we were talking about having everything on your plate, sometimes like all you're doing is looking to get some relief in order to like get up there. So it's like sometimes saying to yourself, I don't have to do this today. And that's not procrastination. Sometimes that is literally saying, you know what? I know that if I do this today, it's going to take me so long. But if I do this tomorrow or in 2 days, I'm going to rock it out and it's going to be effortless. And you have to know when it's the right timing of that. And so it's like if you say, you know what, I don't have to fold the laundry right now. Or you know what, I'm going to book myself a manicure, you know, for next week. Anything that you can do to get yourself, or to say, you know what, I would like to feel good. And that may not seem like anything, you know, big, but if you're feeling really overwhelmed and you say to yourself, I want to feel good, that is a little bit up. It's just trying to get a little bit up, a little bit up. You know, when you're in maximum overwhelm, it's like, what could I do? What could I think right now that would make me feel a little bit better? And sometimes it's to say like, well, I'm in a better place than I was last year. Okay, you found some relief. It's whatever it is. It's even sometimes it is to say, I am so freaking mad and frustrated and overwhelmed and fed up. And then when you say it and you're like, okay, well, I got that out. Now what do I want to feel? Because you can't say that unless you keep repeating it. But it's like that overwhelm is very easy in business. And it's like, okay, so what do I want to feel? And it's like, what? Because everyone's always so focused on what they don't want. And it's like, but what do you want to feel? And it's like, I want to feel good. Okay, so what makes you feel good? Let's start feeling good about something, anything. Just start, you know, get in that energy field. And when we get in that energy field, what can we think in that energy field?
Exactly.
You know?
It's a powerful choice. Learn how to master that muscle of choice. That's for sure. Well, I want to kind of conclude today with a special gift from Jenny. She's got a treat for us that you can plug in and get some more gems and golden nuggets from her. So tell us a little bit about that, Jenny.
Okay, so if you sign up, I'm like looking all around, like, where do I go? Where's my camera? So if you go to my website, jennygperry.com, you will receive 5 steps to increase your mojo to the max. Because I do believe that as a mojo expert, that your energy is everything. That if you feel like you want to get your mojo back, or you don't even know where your mojo was, it's your energy field. It's what makes you feel confident. It's what makes you feel good, okay? And it's the vibe raiser thing. It's ways to raise your vibe. So you want to go grab that and then email me. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you found increased your mojo. Absolutely. And I'll be, look for me soon. Look in your email. I am putting the finishing touches on a self-love 30-day mastermind. I'm just not sure when I'm going to launch it yet, but keep your eyes peeled for that, because it's writing a letter to yourself every single day, but it's a part of yourself. So like one day it might be like your mistakes. One day it might be your past. And it's so fun. And I've had people go through it as a trial run, and they were like, oh my God, I'm learning so much about myself, because that's where I like self-help, but like the fun way and like the loving yourself up that way. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be super fun.
I love that. That sounds awesome. Writing a letter to yourself every day. Very cool. So we'll be tuned for that. Perfect. I want to conclude today. Thank you, Miss Jenny from Joyzy. She's Jenny from the block.
Yes. I won't sing. I won't punish you.
If she just lived closer, we'd have so many more happy hours together. We have virtual happy hours, but together we'd have them in person. That would be awesome. So thank you so much, Jenny. I'm gonna let everyone go. So big hugs to everyone, and
I love you.
And as Jenny would say, love, joy, and sparkles. So all good. Bye, guys.